Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Space Weather. I be your host Dan, aka smAsho. Today is a Daily Space Weather live stream exclusive. This one's only on YouTube right now, streaming live for once on YouTube here, getting things started a little bit late. And should I say, good morning, sir. Shall I contact the news agencies and tell them you're about to rise? Very well, sir. So what we were looking at there at the beginning is the sun, the southern hemisphere portion of it. Active region rising in the east once again as sunspot 2781 sets on your right. 2782 further degrades on your left. Still a bunch of activity surrounding it. Still some chance of things like coronal mass ejections and solar flares. And some incredible imagery that we've got today. A ton of it. All coming up in just a moment. So let's get to some of that. And by the way, hopefully your yesterday did not look like this. Hopefully it turned out a little bit better than that. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux is all the way down to 82. And here's a Solon.info's chart on that. Let me shrink that down. There we go. So down to 82 on the radial flux. And that's a proxy for sunspot number for all of you new viewers out there. By the way, we do have the chat. And thanks for leaving a comment. Nay, Bo J. Why do the fight announcers say the person's last name twice? Nabo J says, hey, what's up? Composite HelioView movies are really cool. Thanks. You're welcome. That's actually an SDO. And if you're wondering where that comes from, this is the browse data. So you just go to that, and you have to sort of make the composites yourself on HelioViewer. And actually, let's get to some HelioViewer movies. We actually have more than we'll be able to cover for the Daily Space Weather because there's a ridiculous number that I took today. So we're just going to show you a couple of them, starting with the Southern Hemisphere 304 angstroms. And allow me to get off the screen. And here's the, just give that a minute to load. And again, we are streaming live to YouTube for once. We usually stream live to Twitch most days. Today we're doing YouTube because we're coming at you kind of late. And here's the 304 angstroms view. And we're actually going to produce another video later on a whole bunch of different sort of close-ups of the recent active regions. And if you haven't seen our 21-minute long video, perhaps check that out. It's at youtube.com/smAshomash exclusively. And some big-time filamentary activity there. Looks like it's ahead of sunspot 2781. A large loop of ionized helium out there. And we've got some more views as well, of course. How about the 335 angstroms view of sunspot 2781. And here's that. Just give it a minute to load. There we go. And this is, I believe this is one of the ionized states of iron. Also, there are a whole bunch of different iron ions on the surface of the sun. And it gives us sort of different insight into what's going on in the magnetic flux regions there. We did see a solar flare that happened. It wasn't quite a C-class flare in the past 24. And why don't we'll do one more image here. I'm going to do the 94 angstroms for once, and that will probably tease folks into coming back later and watching the other video we do with just the sun. And here's the 304 angstroms view. I mean the 94 angstroms view. Again, one of the best ones, along with 131, as this one takes more images per minute, 10 instead of only 2. So 5 times as many images. The 131 and 94 angstroms are specifically used for the monitoring of coronal mass ejections, solar flares, and certain filamentary behavior. They're both iron UV emission spectra. The emission spectra of ionized iron gas. Plasma, as it is. So there's that view in 94 angstroms. I'll let that play through one more time, as it's one of the best ones to see. And you can see that nearly C-class solar flare right at the beginning. If you need to go watch it again, feel free to rewind. We'll be here when you get back. It's the beauty of on-demand programming, yes. The lovely interactive on-demand programming of YouTube. Now, regarding the smash lights, today's smash lights is not going to be a thing. We're going to truncate that entirely because, again, we're streaming live for once to YouTube, and it's a slightly different format as a result. And let's go to the chat. By the way, if you've never seen smash light segments and you're interested in stuff besides the space weather, go check it out. YouTube.com/playlists/smAsho. And thanks for commenting, All the Sun and Merry and Be Stoic as well. Cheers! And let's get into some more stuff here, such as checking out our websites. Have you been to smAshomash.com yet? Well, I suggest you check it out. All of our social media is available under there. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Also, our Teespring store has been updated. So we've got exclusive content. We're going with black for the month of November. And we've got these new masks here. Are you safe yet? Are you safe? Are you safe because you have a mask on? Are you safe because I have a mask on? So that's today's featured product, the Are You Safe mask. Available in one color, black, with white lettering and the smAshomash.com website at the bottom. Perhaps check one of those out. Buy one for your friend. Buy one for your foe. And you can link, again, to all that at smAshomash.com. Also, there's a forum there. That's the smAsho store. There's also a Smash store that's got different stuff. And if you want to know what's there, well, you'll have to find out yourself. Now, I would like to talk about the COVID because it keeps growing in the scary and spookiness for some reason. It keeps, I'm just like, hey, look at that. It's not that bad. Oh, it's still not that bad. It's what is going on here? It's still not that bad. It's still not that bad. It's still not that bad. Am I in denial? Please leave a comment if you think I'm in denial. It's still not that bad. It's still not that bad. But it keeps coming back. What's up with that? Well, please share the following website with your friends and foes and science noobs and science pros, as you can counter their scary looking graphs that show how scary COVID is with number of cases and no qualifiers. And you could probably shrink it down to a wee little Chinese virus that you could just go and it'll just go away. And seriously though, folks, if you focus on your respiratory health and your nutrition, if you're not vitamin D deficient, vitamin C deficient, you should be taking vitamin D, calcium, vitamin C, and zinc, certainly. You should be taking that stuff all the time anyway. By the way, today's featured beverage is coffee with cocoa and cayenne pepper, as well as milk. It's our daily coffee, and we only drink 1 cup a day, by the way. Anyway, let's get to these stats here. if you head to Our World in Data and you go to articles by topic and you go to health, one of the choices there is the COVID, right? And this is the graph you're going to see everywhere. Allow me to get off the screen. And this is the graph you're going to see everywhere. It's designed to look very scary. And news agencies, by the way, have all kinds of incentive to make you scared and spooked. And news agencies like rioting and looting and all kinds of destruction because it increases their ratings, if you weren't aware. Now what we're looking at here is a linear chart. Logarithmic chart is like this. We're looking at a linear chart here of COVID cases per million. This is a 7-day rolling average. And let's just look at some other charts here, such as the case fatality rate, which you can see has been dropping and dropping and dropping. Now the UK has been putting up some bad numbers here. Not numbers that are fake or anything like that. Just it's a bad time in the UK. So at least we're seeing a large number of tests coming in positive as opposed to pointless tests. And yes, I know people will argue that certain tests aren't legit in the first place. But putting all that stuff aside, notice the tests per confirmed case is getting a little bit more reasonable here. And also, notice how many tests are happening in the UK and the drop in tests in the US. And my favorite is Germany. Look at how flat the number of tests is. They've decided that they want the one chart to look like it's real data, so they've decided probably to perform only a certain number of tests per day, and exactly that number. It's a smart idea. It makes your statistics look like real statistics. Anyway, there are the confirmed deaths, and without further ado, allow me to get off of this subject entirely, because, well, I'm sick of talking about it, and the most, hey, no screwing around behind the most effective way to handle this is to have good respiratory health and good nutrition and so on, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, listen, I told you we're going to pay you. You have to set up your PayPal account. Stripe. We have to subscribe to your Patreon. All right, whatever. Anyway, let's get back to some more interesting stuff here. Our Instagram. Hey, thanks Smash staff for the wonderful cheddar wurst you cooked last night and the salad. She did all the cooking. And congratulations on not having AIDS. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. I don't think so. Patrons, please leave a comment if you like our latest ringtones. We might put more on today. And speaking of non-morons, check out these organization here. I don't know what they're called because I don't know Japanese, but check it out. It might be Korean. I have no idea. I think it's Japanese. If you like video game music, do you like video game music? If you like video game music, check this out. The Bloody Tears Castlevania cover. Bloody Tears is one of the music pieces from Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. And check out this cover. It's a little bit intense. It's out of control. So anyway, if you like video game music, check that out. If you enjoy our content, press like and subscribe on YouTube. Tell friends, foes, science noobs, and science pros. There's probably something for everybody on the channel. Check out our playlists, youtube.com/smashomash/playlists. Let's hear from our viewers as I see some more comments came in. Yes, statistics are easy to manipulate. Glad you like the masks. Nay, are you safe? Does the person next to you have a mask on? Are you wearing a mask to bed? Have you canceled Christmas and the rest of your life because of a pandemic, which could make life not even worth living in the first place if everything's canceled? Yes, Mary, statistics are easy to manipulate. Mexican coffee. What's Mexican coffee? Nay is stating that Nay had COVID-19 and she recovered in less than 10 days. Congratulations. Yes, having a good attitude and having a laugh is important. If you enjoy the content, also Check us out on BitChute. There are exclusive videos over there. And when our videos get demonetized on YouTube, they get put exclusively on BitChute, because we're not really a fan of the demonetization, as it buries the content in search. COVID, I told you to... okay. So yeah, there's exclusive videos over there. And if you see one not listed on YouTube, it's probably because it's only on BitChute, such as this one here. Banks of the River Styx BitChute exclusive. Let's talk Turkey. Alt tech is the answer. Were you aware that the election's not over? Yeah, people are done voting. But that is not where an election ends. There are pending issues in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. No more on that on this video. Putting the non-moron and no moron. Follow us on Facebook also. We've got a group there also called Entropy Busters, as things like fraud and nonsense and lies that people believe and massive payouts to fraudsters. That's entropy. And we're busting it. And that's part of the reason why we have the page. Also, branch out into alt tech, please. If you're sick of Facebook, Minds is an alternative to that. Minds.com/smashamash. Send us some tokens. We're tanking at Minds. We're also on Twitter, twitter.com/smashamash. And don't forget to pick up one of those masks where you can go out in public and ask everybody if they're safe yet. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that wearing that mask is safe either, as Nay would successfully cite. Textiles are not designed to wear on your face unless they are. No more on that, as I don't want to reveal more than I should for maximum accountability. All right, so we're also on Gab, gab.com/smashamash. And by the way, the President of the United States doesn't get censored there. So whether or not his gab of Republican Burgess Owens defeats Democrat Republican Ben McAdams in Utah, Democrat Representative Ben McAdams in Utah, great going, Burgess. You continue to be a star. Okay. Gab.com/smashamash. I'll repost. There you go. Are you happy? Are you mad? We've also got a Discord channel. I don't know if anybody knows about this. Discord is like a living chat room. It just sits there all the time. It's discord.com/channels/smashamash. Coming soon to our description below our videos. Don't forget to visit the other links under there as well. We also typically stream live to Twitch. We're not doing that today. It's a YouTube live exclusive. No offense to you, Twitch. Thanks to our followers over there. Cheers. And Mary says, Fauci said we should shut up and do what we're told. And the problem with Fauci is that Fauci came from a very bad side of town. And everything Fauci says makes people frown. Fauci, we don't really care what you do. But Fauci, we would like for you to shut up. And so I say now, shut up, Fauci. Fauci, shut up. Now that I've gotten that out of my system. Did I not tell you? Do you want to be banned? I will ban you. That's right. Get out. Get out right now. All right. That's better. By the way, today's going to have no cosmology segment. My only segment is saying that you should go watch our cosmology segments. There's a whole playlist for it. YouTube.com/playlists/ YouTube.com/smashamash/playlists. Let's check the real-time solar wind. It's currently... Ooh, we see a diverging BTBZ. So we see the south solar polar field strength increasing, but the BT is remaining the same. So the proportional amount of south solar polar field has increased here. That's what this red line means. Here's the phi angle, which is at 356 degrees. Nothing exciting about that. Current solar wind density, quite low, 3.86 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind velocity, 327 kilometers a second. It's like solar minimum conditions. KP index is back to 0 here, coming down from 1 for the 9 hours ago. Here is the pressure in the magnetosphere. It's 4 hours of data courtesy of University of Michigan. And I guess Eugene likes potential field surface source lines better. This is just an extrapolation of those. Shout out to Bagashov. Don't forget to subscribe to Eugene the Philosopher. Yes, Philosopher. Like a cross between philosopher and Christopher. Philosopher. If you look it up, you'll find him on YouTube. And congrats on Eugene for, I think he's approaching 300 subscribers. Here's 4 hours of data of ground magnetic perturbations. And we see the majority of those are over the geomagnetic South Pole and the Canadian geomagnetic North Pole as opposed to the Siberian one. Here is the GOES X-ray flux. And you can see that nearly C-class flare happened just around midnight. And you saw that earlier in the video. If you're up before dawn, you may see Venus and Mercury and the moon. Most likely just Venus and the moon, as Mercury's pretty dim. But if you've got a telescope, you might be able to get some amazing imagery of that. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. Let's see where viewers are in the solar system. And we've got some more comments here. Doesn't sloopy mean stupid? Yes, thanks for citing that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if sloopy means stupid in Russian. Thanks for the comment, Abraham Barker. Yeah, I would be interested to know what the story is behind that. If you've ever watched the video for Hang On Sloopy, it's a ridiculous video. I think Sloopy is the girl in the video, some like hottie from the 70s or something. I don't know, but the video, I mean, I don't like the song in the first place. I think it's a silly song. I really don't know what it's about, honestly. I think it's about a groupie. So it's a ridiculous song. And Fauci is a ridiculous grandstanding gnat upon the behind of America. And I wish that annoying gnat would shut his face, because he's not being helpful. He's actually making the whole situation much worse. And he is a grandstander for vaccines. And I'm not even going to weigh in whether or not I would get a COVID vaccine, because it should be irrelevant to you, the viewer. To me, I find COVID as dangerous as the cold. I've probably had it. I probably had it in freaking November of last year. But I think I actually did get it in April. And I'm not even going to get into what the symptoms were, because it'll just lead to a ridiculous argument with people who know less about infectious diseases than Bernie Sanders knows about economics. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. There's where things will be in a week. Yes, Mary, Fauci stands to gain a certain amount of cash if certain vaccines become the vaccine that the whole world decides to use. So currently there's an arms race, and when I say arms, I mean vaccines. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And let's just say this. If we took any extremely communicable viral vector and followed it, that says nothing about whether it's dangerous or not. So, for instance, West Nile virus. Most people that get West Nile virus, they probably don't get any symptoms at all. And so, there's a lot of fear-mongering about West Nile virus. Every local municipality on the East Coast is scared and spooked about standing water, even though you're getting, whatever. Anyway, I won't continue ranting about COVID. Here's the GOES magnetometer. And you're seeing some spikiness here as I forecasted. You're not really seeing a smooth graph. And that's going to continue for the next couple days unless something drastic has changed. And nothing's really changed here. Here's the latest image from the Gong 2 top view ecliptic plane field plot. It's showing you the polarity of the current sheet, and we're going to remain in the North Pole current sheet for the foreseeable future. And when the Earth's field force line gets to these areas, you're going to see those big spikes in the GOES magnetometer. Without totally explaining how that works, the plasma is blocking heating up and orienting to the magnetic fields. Here is the line of sight coronal hole field plot. Once again, shout out to Eugene the Philosopher. I didn't really watch this one before, but he has a point. Seeing the coronal holes plotted along with the B field is good. The B field is shown in green. Coronal holes are shown. Sorry, the B field is shown in blue. Coronal holes are shown in green and red, north and south poles respectively. Here's a line of sight field plot, and this one will also show you the magnetogram there in the middle. And you can see the way coronal holes are indeed associated with sunspots. There is some kind of connection. It's one of the things we're trying to figure out on the channel. And also, and I've got theories on it, I'm just not going to cover it in the daily space weather video because it could lead to massive risk and liability, and it won't get me paid a dime. Here is the coronal hole magnetic field plot, and this should be more of the sort of thing Eugene should be wanting to look at. I should have actually showed it to him when we did our video about condensed matter. If you haven't seen that one, it's also on our playlists. It's our latest terms defined as well as our latest The Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash. And I would note a bit of activity there associated with the south solar polar field. It's showing you closed field force lines in pink and open field force lines in black if they're not coronal hole ones, as those are polar open field force lines. Coronal hole open field force lines are shown in purple. Next, let's look at electron flux. We don't see charging hazards, so we see a very low level of electron flux now, actually way down here on the 1-year graph, if you can't see that. Or if you can see it, it's still there. And let me bring up the chat again here, and any new chats. We're approaching the end of the video. Anything you'd like said on top of the video, leave your chat soon, because we are almost out of here, but we're going to make at least one more video today. Here's the electron flux forecast model, and they're calling for an increase here. I have no comment. In fact, I do agree that we will see an increase in the electron flux in the next day or two, including a significant one here, moving closer to the normal sort of range here. Right now, electrons are cratered. They're cratered. Yeah, so yeah, I'd be interested to know what the story is behind that song, Sloopy, Shut Up Sloopy, you know, Shut Up Sloopy, shut up the band that did it. I don't even know what the band is called. I just don't really care. Caught COVID from an envelope from a big box store. They never closed. How do you know you caught COVID from an envelope from a big box store? What the heck happened? Oh my God, I'm showing the studio. I'm going to show you what's going on behind closed doors, folks. It could be horrifying. Just kidding. We'll show our patrons what's going on behind closed doors. Anyway, here's a visualization of the electron flux. And we see continued anomalies here over the northern hemisphere. What can I say? We tend to see more of these anomalies when the electron flux is at very low levels, and it has to do with essentially instability. So some unexpected GPS errors perhaps happening there in places like North America and Canada. Here is the ionosphere layer, I think. Oh my God, we got to put up a test pattern. We've got a gray screen of death. And we're back. How's that for lag time, folks? Here's the ionosphere map. And we're showing you the entire day there of the ionosphere. Oh geez, I can't read envelope. So how did you catch COVID? Oh, because there was contact tracing going on, right? That is pretty interesting. They didn't close, huh? What did they do? Spray Lysol over the whole store? Expose everybody to chemicals that are also more harmful than COVID? Would that be the solution? Please leave a comment if you saw videos about I don't know if it was, I think it was China actually, they were driving trucks down the street spraying like Lysol disinfectant all over the streets, sidewalks. Great idea, dudes. Really smart. What could possibly go wrong with a giant bureaucracy that's too big to get out of its own way? Anyway, there's the ionosphere. Let's bring up the latest image here. It's looking a little bit anomalous here, a little bit charged up over the southern hemisphere at nighttime, and that's no surprise with the low electron flux, as it's related. Ions, electrons, you know, protons, atomic nuclei of heavier mass than hydrogen, as well as hydrogen. That's at 12:15 Universal Time. And we saw a little uptick in earthquakes here. Nothing real big, a bunch of aftershocks in Nevada. Smash Staff, let us know if Smash Staff's mom felt that one. I think she was a little too far away, and there's mountains in between. She lives near Tahoe, by the way. So we're scrolling up the list here. Again, the largest of the past 24 was, I believe, a 5.4. There's a deep quake at the Caribbean. Another deep quake at Puerto Rico, a 3.5 at 144 kilometers. There's one in the mid-Indian Ridge, right in the middle of the Indian Ocean, near a three-way juncture between the Antarctican, African, and Indian continents, the plates, rather. Very deep quake at Fiji, a 4.7, just came in. Thanks to our patrons, a true source of funding for the content. Please consider becoming a patron. We will provide more and more audio as time goes on because we will leverage our content more and more to our patrons. Look for some unlisted videos coming out. Sorry, YouTube. Patrons only will see those. Maybe we'll eventually release them depending on what the subject matter is. Thanks again to our patrons for being the true source of funding for the content. Patreon.com/smAsho is where you can find that. And we do regularly put up exclusive content on Patreon that is not paid for. So we put up public posts as well, not only the patrons-only posts. So you may want to go and subscribe at Patreon, even if you're not willing to open up your cobweb-encrusted wallet and pay us a couple bucks per month to make the content. Next, looking at volcanoes. Don't worry, you'll be looking too. What's erupting, you ask? Well, let's consult volcanodiscovery.com and find out. Tsukunosejima is producing a cloud of ash of unknown size. Please don't fly your hang glider over Tsukunosejima. It could be unhealthful. Tucono's exploding. It's a 6,000-foot ash plume there. White Island is now producing some low-level ash emissions. So ramp up at White Island, north of New Zealand there. One of the few volcanoes that have killed a few people in the past year or two. Popocatépetl exploding. So back on the list there, Popocatépetl. Please leave a comment if it's pronounced Popocatépetl. I think it's Popocatépetl because that accent, I believe, means that syllable is the accented syllable. So I believe it's actually Popocatépetl. Not the easiest word to pronounce, but I like it. As I took German, and when you read German, you got to be able to pronounce words that are like 85 characters long. Fuego also exploding. Flight level 150 there. It's a 15,000-foot ash plume. 21,000-foot ash plume as Sangay explodes. Mild explosive activity from Ravenador, which is mild enough to have me several kilometers away. And Sabancaya is exploding as well, producing a 27,000-foot ash plume. What say you viewers? Viewers. Next, we're looking at nullschool.net to see what the jet streams are up to. And let me see what the stream is up to, because I haven't really checked at all. I guess it must still be live. And we're 35 minutes in. It's still going strong. Oh my God, the place is on fire again. Just putting out fires here constantly. Yeah, I'm a volunteer firefighter. Congratulations to me. All right, so there's the jet stream situation of the East. We got some oddities here. Some backward jet stream there over the Indian Ocean where there's probably nobody at all. This is one of the freaking most desolate places in the world. Who is doing anything there? Not much of anybody. Here are the jet streams of the West. I'm getting excited about jet streams. Not really, folks. Oh, check it out. We got reverse flow over the Atlantic once again. Jet stream still not flattened. Any questions? There they are. Let's see what's going on with the 10 hectopascal. And by the way, this requires a lot of computer interpolation to even get. the 10 hectopascal winds because it requires code. You're looking for patterns in low pressure winds at only 10 hectopascals. Completely different than what's going on at the surface. So there's that. And you can see this co-rotation happening in the northern hemisphere. As we move into winter, by the way, we'll be making a live stream for the solstice. We almost always live stream at the exact moment of the solstice. And here is your counter-rotating southern hemisphere. So we've got a pretty orderly situation going on here when it comes to the 10 hectopascal winds. This is what you would see if you were looking at the Earth as an alien. Just kidding, folks. All right, and next we'll go to windy.com. I'm going to give you a snow forecast for the U.S. as I see some snow falling. So here is what's going to be happening. Are you a snowboarder who's balling? Anyway, there's the current snow depth. Let's go through the weekend. Here's where the that's the Euro forecast. Here's the GFS forecast, I think. Nope, we don't do snow on windy. All right. There's the GFS forecast for snow depth through noon on Monday, the 16th of November. And we'll have about a quarter of the country covered by that point. Did I fail to show stuff? All right. Test pattern. Sorry about the test pattern, folks. All right, anyway, we're back. And what's next? I don't know. Lightningmaps.org. As we see some lightning striking right now. So we're doing a live real-time lightning map for once on YouTube. Right in the center of misery. Hey, St. Louis. If you're watching from St. Louis, go out and have a look to your west. You may see some interesting stuff going on above that storm. Festus? Who wants to go celebrate Festivus at Festus? Festivus at Festus. As I rained blows upon him, I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way. A Festivus for the rest of us. All right. Anyway, there's the current lightning situation. And it looks like those cells are moving to the northeast. And there are the sound waves. Hey, St. Louis. It looks like this one might miss you largely. Again, if you're in a skyscraper, hey, Quincy, there's thunder rolling in. Big lightning strike there. Here's the GOES 16 lightning mapper. And that'll give you a good idea of where the storm fronts are located. Next, we've got the U.S. Doppler radar map. And while I put that up, I'll bring up the chat as well. Jim, what is your SOS for? Please cite the nature of your SOS in the comments. Anyway, some snow falling, and those strong storms there, they look like they're moving at a fairly steady pace. By the way, when we show the satellite images, we typically always use this is called the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellites. Use that. When we show the clouds, we show the shortwave. Today we're only going to show the water vapor map, as the video's getting kind of long here. Please leave a comment if that's what she said. And we'll zoom in on central misery, and you can see that's actually what's going on there is because of this massive pressure gradient and cold air being injected down via the jet stream. So there's a mixture happening there as cold air is coming through like this, striking this barrier of dry mass of air and creating essentially an atmospheric waterfall. If we looked at it in the cloud layer, you would see an atmospheric waterfall. In fact, let's do it. Since people like to say atmospheric river and stuff like that, let's show the viewers the atmospheric waterfall that's happening. We've got an upper level low here moving over a lower level high. which creates a perfect pressure gradient for people to look up in the sky and see things that they'll misinterpret as all kinds of stuff that isn't really there. Because if you don't understand the atmospheric physics, you might think things like chemtrails are a thing. Oh, look at all those straight lines there, folks. Must be chemtrails. Pardon my sarcasm. Anyway, that's where that atmospheric waterfall is happening, right? Like this. It's not really an atmospheric river. It's more like an atmospheric pond that's spilling over a dam, if that makes sense. And stay tuned, folks. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Please keep your head and arms inside the smash plane at all times. We've got a bonus features. We're going to show you the 131 angstroms 48-hour SDO video. We're going to show you the current umbral situation on the solar intensity gram. And we're going to show me vanishing before I bring up the chat, bring up the colorized magnetogram. Last call for chats, y'all. Again, thanks everybody for leaving comments. We greatly appreciate your viewing it, and we usually view these videos live with our viewers because I would remind everybody that I'm not only smAsho, but I'm also a client. Part of the reason I make the videos in the first place is because I watch them myself. I'm the editor at large, and I'm also viewing the content on a larger screen. Here's the current situation when it comes to the colorized magnetogram. And by the way, sunspot 2781 is now an alpha class sunspot. It only has one umbra. These are no longer umbrae. And the sunspot has winked at you. Here's sunspot 2782. And do we see any rising fields here? No, we don't. Here's 2781, an intensity gram, I think. Indeed. Here's 2782, an intensity gram, and it's almost entirely evaporated. Barely a sunspot. I mean, that barely counts. I would anticipate this to lose its name today and remain just an active region. Here's 131 angstroms. We'll show you the full disk. Thanks for tuning in. I would remind everybody once again to please watch our smAshomash.org presents The Sun. It's a 20-minute video dating all the way back to July 29th. So it's from July 29th through November 10th, and it's all kinds of different close-ups. There's no audio with that, so put on your favorite tunes, whether it's thrash metal, hip-hop, classical. Toccata and Fugue in D minor is only about 10 minutes, so you can play that twice. The video's about 21 minutes long. Bring up the chat one more time before I get out of here. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Thanks for leaving comments. What do we have? Do we have anything to read? Who's ready for a dark winter? Sounds like some terminology that I think I've heard before. Ah, same old stuff, Jim. Cheers. Hopefully everything's going good for everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Again, look for another video coming out today. No disclosure what that will be. We may actually make two depending on certain things. And let's hope China doesn't own America soon. Remember, some people's agenda was made in China, and some people's agenda was made in the USA. And here's a little tidbit. Here's a little tidbit from our smAshomash.org presents The Sun. I'll just put it right in the middle. It's got a bunch of insane views. And it's got all kinds of filaments and close-ups of sunspots, and I think you'll really like it, especially if you view our daily space weather videos and you enjoy solar imagery. Even your friends and foes who really dislike me will probably still appreciate it. And here's the current SDO image one more time. We'll play that through once. And may that solar wind be at your back and that atherosclerosis absent from your arteries.